I have many friends, and they have children in all, how to say, all ages. I've been watching these teenagers a lot, and I think I've talked about this with others, and we agree that they seem to be rather stupid, or that they don't function clearly. You know, when you were 14 and I was 14, we could do many things, and we could think for ourselves and got new ideas, and hey, we couldn't sit still. We have to, you know, activity. But today they seem to be very lazy, no energy, no life force. And they just seem to be very hooked up to the SMS, mobile phones, internet, television. They seem to be zombies, just stimulated from the outside, no stimulation inside. They seem to be empty in some way.
Yeah, that's very interesting that you mentioned that, because when we were kids, we were the outdoor generation. Nowadays, kids are the indoor generation, and they live their lives in front of computer screens. I mean, 3G telephone is just a small computer which you look on the tele screen, you know, and they work with the computer games and whatever they are doing, and spend basically all their time, both at home as well as at school, in front of computers. And of course they are very inactive, and that also yields other problems regarding their physical stamina and their condition and so on. But the interesting part here is, I mean, there are studies on rats, for instance, and they were published already in 1996 or 1994, where rats were exposed to this kind of Bluetooth frequency, very close to the 3G frequency, 2.45 gigahertz, and then these rats, in problem-solving situations, they decreased their capacity. They lost their short-term capacity, or not lost, but it got not so good any longer, and the concentration capacity was decreased. And the question would be then to parents, do you want to have children that will function less optimal than they used to do previously? And I've never heard a parent, a mother or father, say, yes, I want to have a dumber kid, you know. No, they want to have a better kid, an educated kid, an active kid, and so on, you know. And the question is if all this irradiation actually influences the electric capacity of the brain and the neuronal functions and so on. And as you know, there are so many papers showing changes in the EEG pattern, destruction of the dream sleep, where all the regain of your body should take part, you know, an influence on the blood-brain barrier, or not an influence, it's a destruction really, even cell death, neuronal cell death in rat brains, and cracks on the DNA spiral and so forth. I mean, there's so many pieces of information here. And I'm just surprised that people want to sort of play a lottery with their kids, with their future. I'm very surprised by that, you know, because again, we are talking about toys. And you mentioned, for instance, the part of ethics here. And again, for instance, the Karolinska Institute, when we got the new president, Harriet Wallberg Henriksson is her name, she talked a lot about that she should reintroduce ethics into medical research. And I think this would be an ideal area to introduce exactly that, you know. And so far I haven't seen anything, but maybe in the future this could be an area to sort of try these ethical principles on, you know.
I think the future is very soon.
Well,
so yeah.
Well, it's very nice of you to say that, but I have to say that personally I've lost a lot of belief really in the system, and I thought, you know, that for instance medical research, it's just for the citizens, for the health and well-being of the citizens, and of course it's not, you know, it's there are other driving forces behind medical research, and I must say I lost a lot of confidence and belief into this, you know. But I hope that you are right, of course.
Okay, I will reinstall that belief with you. I promise before I go.
Yeah, okay.
You will be certain. Ole, when we talk about Wi-Fi systems in schools, all over. You have a lot of knowledge in that. In Denmark, they have put it up since we have communicated you.
Yeah.
Since they started the research program in
Yeah,
Denmark,
yeah.
they have put Wi-Fi systems up all over schools.
Yeah, yeah.
But actually now they have started to take some down.
Yeah, I know.
And they say that it's because the children misuse
Yeah,
the internet.
yeah.
But I just sense that they have started to become bigger ears.
Yeah.
What about Wi-Fi and WiMAX? I read that in the USA in 2010, the Northern America will be a total WiMAX area. What do you believe?
Well, again, I mean, I'm very surprised that people in charge, they put up this kind of exposure systems, having, as you say, all the knowledge in the scientific literature regarding effects of microwave irradiation in different waveforms, patterns, pulsations, and so on, you know, but clearly saying that, hey, this may not be safe whatsoever, you know. And I don't see also the need, because I have often met people in various situations, and I remember particularly when I was down in Luxembourg at the European Union, and we talked for a whole day about various wireless systems, including mobile telephones and so on, you know. And at the end of the day, I asked a question to the representatives from the European Union. I said to them, hey, when you decided to introduce this kind of wireless systems in the European Union countries, what kind of need was there to be fulfilled? Had parents put out questions and demands, or what was the exact need, you know? And then I remember the answer was very funny, you know, because one of the guys, he said, you know, well, Ole Johansson, I have to admit, you know, that this is probably the most intelligent question that anyone has put in the European Union ever. But I don't have an answer to it. Apart from that, the only need behind the introduction of wireless telecom system was the profit of private companies. There was no other need whatsoever. And he just said it out bluntly, you know. And of course you realize that, well, he must be right, of course, you know. I mean, we don't need these kind of systems from that point of view, you know. And I often remind people about, for instance, William Shakespeare and Albert Einstein. They didn't even have a pocket calculator. They didn't have anything, and they are still completely unsurpassed. No one has proven better than these people. And William Shakespeare, he just had this goose pen, you know, writing his fantastic novels and novelettes and plays and so on, you know. And the question is really, are we dealing with needs? And in that case, what kind of needs are we talking about? Wireless internet, for instance, what kind of a problem will that solve? Will people get food from it? Will they get usable air, clean water? What will pour out from these gadgets, you know, that we have here on the table? And I don't think that will solve any needs whatsoever. But of course, it will generate enormous profits in various industrial sectors, and these could be taxated and used by governments and so on to clear problems like food reduction or water quality. I realize that, but there is no initial primary need at all, you know. And